This is VSiN, the sports betting network.
Follow the money. That's what I always say. You always follow the money. Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Paulie Howard on VSiN.
Yes, here we go. Follow the Money. Paulie Howard, Mike Somich, Mitch out, back tomorrow. Busy program coming up. Nick Bogdanovich makes his return in half an hour from Boomer Sports. He's the new man in charge. We'll talk college football and how the business is going with Nick. Coming up, also Derek Stevens in studio later in the program. Grandissimo, also Circus Survivor, all the people that were on Kansas City, a bit of a surprise. And a Follow the Money listener is the leader in the booby contest after another 1-4 performance. David Baker in an hour. Poker players, got a poker tournament coming up he'll talk about. But more importantly, he unloaded on one team in the futures market last week, the state of the AFC and NFC. And he still has 4 left in Circus Survivor. We'll talk to him as well. Paul Stone with a 4-pack in college football and a lot to go over. With the NBA underway, back on NBC, some hockey plays from Somich, some futures from Somich. Recap the Monday Night Football debacle, at least with the late game. How you been, Mike?
Doing good, man. We are loaded. That was a nice little minute intro there with everything we got going on the show, so can't wait to dive into it. World Series is set. We're just a couple days away from being able to put in our baseball, hockey, football, and basketball parlay here, which is nice. I love the NBA tipping off tonight with 2 solid games as well. Got to manufacture some bets in there, as I don't really love sides and totals, but do have a prop that I like quite a bit coming from one of those games.
Good.
And then, look, we got to talk about those Monday Night Football games as well. We saw Detroit absolutely dominate Tampa Bay. And then what was really a mess of a game between Seattle and Houston. Not really sure how good Seattle actually is, even though I want to think that they are a Super Bowl contender.
Yes, well said, absolutely. Condolences if you're a Mariners fan or if you had a Mariners future ticket. You're 8 outs away from making the World Series for the first time. I like what John Smoltz said on the broadcast. You can get 6 outs from your closer at any time. It doesn't have to be the last 6 outs. But Wilson wouldn't go to Munoz early. He managed the game like it was a Tuesday in Kansas City in June. In any event, the guys he had trusted let him down, and Wu got the party started with a couple singles that he allowed in the 7th, and then Springer comes in and goes deep. That is a killer, brutal way to end the season. Game 7, in their first ever Game 7, 8 outs away, Mike, from going to the World Series. Springer does it again. They were as high as 5-1 in play to come back. They were 30-1 before the season to win the American League. And now the Blue Jays get back to the World Series for the first time since '93 in a great game. And it's why it's just so gut-wrenching and heartbreaking for what happened. I can't recall a team this good that hit that many double plays in big spots in a huge series like Seattle did as well.
Just a brutal way to go down. If you're a Mariners fan, if you're a Mariners backer, you're sitting there, Game 6, you get this all-time rally to be able to win that baseball game. You've got the momentum heading into Game 7. And like you said, you can use your closer whenever you want to. We saw it in the Brewers-Cubs series.
Yeah.
Brewers manager started their closer because they were having such issues in the first inning. Look, you need 27 outs. Get those 27 outs whatever way that you can. And the fact that we're managing this like a Tuesday, like you said, was a little bit mind-blowing. This was the most important game of the season, full stop, for both of these teams. Game 7 to go to the World Series, and yet treating it just like another game, like you've got another 161 of them coming up. Not the case.
Yeah.
Man, Cal Raleigh afterward, absolutely heartbroken. I've got a couple Seattle Mariners fans in my life. The text that I was getting from them was just gut-wrenching. I mean, this is a tough loss for a fan base and anyone who backed them there at big numbers to win the AL.
1 of 10 with runners in scoring position the last 2 games. All the double plays that I mentioned. Munoz threw 33 pitches and faced 10 batters in the series. That's also incredible what happened. So now we go Game 1 Friday, and the Freight Train Dodgers, who are 9-1 in the playoffs and a 1.40 starters ERA, even without home field, they're 215 at DraftKings. They are 250 without home field. Series price at William Hill and Caesars. We have seen this 4 times before, where one team's coming off a sweep and the other one went 7. And the previous 4 all won that went the distance, as opposed to the rust was too much for the team to overcome, as that favors the Blue Jays here. But, I mean, what do you think of the series price? And I think it's a good matchup for the Blue Jays in terms of they don't strike out. and they're going to have home field here, and maybe their starters can contain this Dodger offense, although they're all right-handed.
We'll start out with just the pricing of the series. You're seeing anywhere from minus 215. There's actually a minus 205 in the market, all the way out to minus 250. You got to think this is a lot about future liability, because there are some people who have a lot of liability on this Dodgers team to be able to win the World Series. We saw them at a honestly really big number to start the preseason because they were in that wild card round. I picked them up at plus 320 after they won that round before they were playing the Phillies. There's a lot of people that have Dodgers win tickets here, and I think that's why we're seeing certain books kind of shade it up to the Dodgers side so that they can try and take in whatever money they can on Toronto to be able to offset those future liabilities. As far as the series, I think this really comes down to one thing, and you kind of led with it. It's the bats here for Toronto. If they can hit, this is a series. If they can't, this is going to be over very, very quickly, because it's a Dodgers lineup where you can hold them down, but you're not shutting them down. And they're going to be games where they're going to put up 5, 6, 7, 8 runs. And the underswath that we saw in the playoffs, the Dodgers were the one team that was consistently being able to hitting the ball, consistently pushing games over. And you've got just a murderer's row of starters for the Dodgers that are going to be fully rested, actually over-rested here. And that's kind of the rust versus wear there. Is that rust going to come back and haunt the starting pitching for the Dodgers? I think they should be a legit favorite. It kind of feels like if this is a 4-1 or 4-2 series for the Dodgers, you can get plus 330 on 4-1. You can get plus 380 on 4-2. I would kind of go that direction here if I'm trying to target some type of series bet. I don't want to lay over $2. I want to try and guess the exact number. And I just think the starting pitching advantage is too much to overcome here for the Blue Jays, despite the home field advantage.
Well, yeah, that's where it's a great matchup with what these starters have done. And Toronto hitting 300, averaging 6.5 runs a game with the lowest whiff rate in the playoffs. And they put the ball in play, and we'll see if these unsung heroes and a lot of these guys, Ernie Clements and Kirk and these guys, if they can come up with big hits and big at-bats against this Dodger team. And what happens with the Dodgers offensively as well. You're right about the future liability, the 7-1 at some spots before the playoffs started. But it's game one's intriguing right off the bat, because are they going to get to Snell? And you can also bet the double with L.A., which is small plus price to win game one and to win the series. But if they come out and Snell sets the tone and they can't get much on them or get the bats going on them, and that's a huge edge for L.A. But Mike, it's unfair that you can go Snell, Yamamoto, Glasnow, Ohtani here right off the bat. And then the other angle, too, is also MVP, which could obviously Ohtani's the favorite. As low as plus 180 to win MVP. And then the Jays are led by Vlad and Springer. Vlad 6-1. Springer 10-1 here, but it's a good World Series. There's a lot going on with, they haven't won it since 93, haven't been here since 93, and we haven't seen a repeat champ in 24 years as well with what LA's trying to pull off.
Yeah, we got some juice here. It's a fun World Series. Now, the one part that could be the downer is if the Dodgers do just come out and dominate, and all of a sudden we're sitting here and it's 3-0, and it's like, all right, this was always inevitable. You were just going to have to face this murderer's row at the top half of this Dodgers rotation. And if Snell pitches well, you've got Yamamoto, who I absolutely 100% trust. Glasnow, to me, is the weakest link of the four, and he's a very, very good starting pitcher. And then you got Ohtani sitting there waiting for you in Game 4. It's just hard for me to get past the Dodgers. I like the idea there of saying, hey, I'll take Dodgers Game 1, Dodgers series. If the Dodgers go up 1-0, Paulie, what is the likelihood that the Toronto comes back and wins this series? It's next to none. They need to win Game 1 at home and set the tone for this series to be able to have the opportunity to be able to win a 7-game set against this Dodgers team. So I like that bet as well. If you can get Dodgers to win Game 1, win the series at plus money, I think that's a good ticket to add to the account.
Well, here's what scares me is we just saw this with Milwaukee. They were so good offensively. They put the ball in play. They were great with run differential. They had home field, and then they hit 118, a record low, and scored 4 runs in the whole frickin' series. Wow, this pitching staff dominated them. I guess if you can somehow get into the pen, would be big. Pitch count up. Go back to those old Jeter Yankees. Make you work, and that's what the Blue Jays could do, get the pitch count up. But I also don't like the Toronto bullpen either. I mean, see how many lefties they can throw at the Dodger hitters. But I just think the Dodgers have the edge in several key categories here, and we're playing games with the regular season, and just we're waiting for this opportunity here. The one thing that we've never seen this before in history, no one has ever won back-to-back MVPs, and Freddie Freeman is trying to do that. he is the third choice at 9-1. So if he can get going, and they could probably hit third in the lineup with these righties, with what Toronto's going to throw, maybe there's a case that we could see history there. Any thoughts on Freeman? Now you see in 10-1 in some spots MVP.
I don't mind taking a shot with a Dodger as MVP that's not named Shohei Ohtani. Right? Let's say that he doesn't win Game 4 on the mound. The bats in this Dodgers lineup have enough pop to be able to outperform him. And if it's Teoscar Hernandez, if it's Mookie Betts, who Betts at 22, Teoscar at 10-1, Freeman at 10-1, you're going to get depth scoring from this Dodgers team. You're going, and that's wild to say because we're talking about the 2, 3, 4, 5 hitters here as depth scoring because it's not Ohtani. I could see Betts having a huge series. I could see Teoscar Hernandez having a huge series. Those are the guys I'm targeting on the MVP side versus Ohtani there at plus 180, just because if you don't get the mound performance, all of a sudden this is wide open and he shouldn't be sitting there at 2-1.
Right. I also feel that way about Snell, who's only going to go twice. He'll probably go Game 1 and Game 5, and he's as low as 18-1. Both teams were tied for most comeback wins with 52, Dodgers and Jays. The Game 1 winner has won 24 of the last 30 World Series. And L.A. pitching, just incredible, historic what they did, and not only in the playoffs, but against the Brewers. The Sports Equinox is here. All 4 major leagues in action at the same time. Celebrate the best time of year for bettors with the VSiN Sports Equinox special. Sign up now. Full VSiN Pro access, everything we do through May 1st for only $120, less than $20 a month. VSiN.com/subscribe. And check out Zach Cohen's write-up on the NBA games tonight as we're back with a doubleheader. Up next, this team's in a world of hurt in the NFL. A stat you won't believe coming up next on Follow the Money.
If you're serious about football betting, VSiN's got your weekend game plan. Fridays at 7 p.m., it's the Circa Friday Football Invitational. Saturday morning, VSiN's college football tailgate show at 9 a.m., breaking down matchups, props, and big-time bets. Later that night, join the football contest show as the sharpest betting minds give you their picks for Sunday's game. And Sunday at 9 a.m., lock in with Mitch and Paulie on VSiN's Pro Football Tailgate Show. Your final stop before kickoff. Check out the full lineup at VSiN.com and join us on the Sports Betting Network.
So, Paulie, have you had a chance to read the VSiN Daily yet?
Yeah, came in at 3 a.m. What's Bill doing up that late?
Well, rumor has it, it starts off with a 12-hour meditation session.
Then he just pours himself over film and live TV, really focusing and taking it all in. Bill's in with the biggest insiders, talking trade secrets, strategies, the whole nine, absorbing the info.
And then and only then can the writing process begin.
In Las Vegas, Bill's late night becomes your early morning. Wake up to the very latest betting insights in your inbox with the VSiN Daily. Sign up for free at vsin.com/newsletter.
Hi, everybody. Jensen Lewis here, co-host of VSiN by the Books with my man Dave Ross. Tune in to us tomorrow as we react to opening night in the NBA. Continue to preview the World Series getting underway on Friday and tell you whose stock is trending up. As always, our guest lineup is stacked. We'll be joined by Chris Childers, Adam Burke, and the great Wes Reynolds. VSiN by the Books, Wednesday, 7 to 10 a.m. Eastern on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
The Texans are the first team in history to lead the NFL in points per game allowed and have a losing record through the first 7 weeks of the season. That was an abomination last night. As I tweeted, they forced 4 turnovers, had a defensive touchdown. Seattle had 12 penalties and a missed field goal, and the Texans couldn't cover. And as you said during the break, Mike, they never threatened. You felt okay the whole game with the ticket on Seattle as they win again. And the Texans, this offensive line is so bad. And between Stroud having no pocket awareness, Collins leaves with a concussion. This is unbelievable how bad this team is offensively, and they're wasting an all-time great defense.
Yeah, pretty disappointing. I was a Texans backer before the season. I picked them to win the division.
Me too.
I've got some division tickets that I had to buy off of after watching them for a couple weeks. This is just wildly frustrating because I came into the season saying this was the best defense in football. I still think this is the best defense in football, and the stats back it up. You mentioned the points per game leading the NFL. You've got 2 elite edge rushers. You've got 2 elite cornerbacks, and this offense just cannot find a way to consistently move the football. And it's a multitude of problems here. Yes, injuries are an issue. You haven't had Kirk all season. You've got Collins who's been in and out of the lineup. Now he has a concussion. But this offensive line, which we all knew was a problem, is just going to continue to be a problem. And it doesn't seem like the offensive coordinator, that the leadership there, able to scheme any way around it. They're not able to get the ball out quick. You're not able to find easy routes to complete for Stroud. And you see him just seeing ghosts back there, man. Even when the line holds up now, he's backing up. He's running away from it. If the ball's not out in 2.5 seconds, he thinks he's going to get pressure. And because of that, it really limits his ability to make plays down the field. And you've got the same issue with this Texans offense that we've seen the last 2 years. They cannot run the football.
Yeah.
So C.J. Stroud finds himself in 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9, 3rd and 11 consistently. And when you have a crappy offensive line and you have to be in 3rd and long, the other team's just going to pin their ears back and they're going to get pressure, be up the middle, on the edge, whatever it is. You don't have an answer for that. I'm still shocked that when you have this glaring of a weakness in the NFL, you have no semblance of a game plan of how to avoid that weakness being exploited week in and week out. And yet here we are every single week. This Texans offensive line gets exploited and there's no change in the way that you're trying to run the offense.
Yeah. I couldn't believe Stroud running backwards. I don't know how that wasn't a safety right off the bat. It's like, it was the same thing for Sam Darnold. Just all-time horrendous decision-making and pocket awareness. There's a guy coming right at you. You're holding the ball like a loaf of bread. Why are you running backwards? And then Darnold tries to go with the switcheroo, left-handed, hands him a touchdown, which was ridiculous. And then Stroud throwing it behind the line of scrimmage, which also could have been a touchdown, at least a safety. More on that in a second. And then at the end with Ryans, with the look on his face about, we just went through this in week 1 with the Monday night game with the Bears and Vikings. Sunday night, whatever, no, Monday night. There was 2:04 left. Either kick it out of bounds or kick it through the back of the end zone. That's terrible what happened there on a kickoff.
Well, let's go to the extra point. How do you kick an extra point there? You've got to go for 2. You're down 15. Let's say you kick the extra point, great, you're down 8. It's a 1-possession game. I get you want it to be a 1-possession game, but don't you want to go for 2 there? Because if you miss going for 2, you're down 9. You know you have to onside the kick. You have to get the ball twice if you miss the 2-point conversion, whereas you're essentially leaving yourself a situation where you now have to score a touchdown and convert the 2-point conversion, and you have no other outs. That's it. You can't try and get the ball back because there's not going to be enough time on the clock. And then, just if you can't kick it through the end zone, just kick it out of bounds. Just give it to him at the 40. You're essentially wasting a timeout by not being able to have that play clock sitting at, I think it was 2:02, 2:04, whatever it was, when the Seahawks run their first snap. It just ineptitude. And it goes back to even the first time that they were down there and they've got 1st and goal from the 1. And it's like, you don't know what you're doing from a play calling perspective.
That's right.
You haven't been able to run the ball up the middle all night. They've got 2 elite defensive tackles. Your offensive line stinks. Don't try and run it up the middle. Try and find ways to get the ball out on the edge quickly to your receivers. I hate fades. Throw a fade. That's got a better chance of working than running it directly up the middle. And yet they just kept banging their heads against the wall throughout this entire time. I'm tired of talking about the Texans because I like them. I still love this defense. Seattle is fascinating to me as well because, yes, they won this football game. What is the long-term trajectory of this Seattle Seahawks team? We've seen them lose 2 games they really should have won against the Buccaneers and against the 49ers. And you watch this game and you see those warts around Sam Darnold. Like the ceiling seems to be capped for a team that also has an elite defense. I love what the Seattle defense is doing. I just can't get behind them. I think they could legitimately win the division. You get a decent price right now, plus 275. It was as high as 9-1 a couple weeks ago. But as a real playoff contender, how do you think they're going to go on the road and win, Paulie? Like, this is a team that's going to have at some point run into their ceiling because of Sam Darnold. Yeah, I totally agree. And it reminded me of Green Bay, Cleveland from earlier in the season. All Seattle had to do was run the ball 3 times and punt. They were going to win the game because Houston couldn't do anything offensively, and they only hung in there was because of Darnold with the horrendous turnover. And then they're up 2 scores, and they come out throwing the ball after the turnover, and that was a horrible interception. And then Houston couldn't take advantage of it. So you're right. That was the bad Sam Darnold. But the good is how good JSN is. And he did it again. He's at 96 yards in every game but one. We mentioned he was plus 750 at DraftKings to break the record all-time receiving yards before the game. No one can cover this guy. 8 for 123. So at some point it's going to continue with Darnold with the turnovers, and you can't trust him. But I think you finally have to get off Houston here. Plus 270 to make the playoffs. The concussion with Collins, but strange, 4 of the next 5 are at home. But listen to the games. Niners, Broncos, Jags, Bills, Colts, Chiefs. That's what's coming up. Season's over. Bye-bye. Yeah, that's the tough part with this Houston team. They had to win early. They had to win some of these games like that. The first 2 games of the year. At Rams versus Bucks. Those were 2 very good football games that they could have easily won. They gave up points late in both of those games to lose. They should have beaten the Jags week 2. You had a Nico Collins turnover there, or week 3, you had a Nico Collins turnover late in that game when they were in field goal range and it was 10-10. Those games are going to come back and haunt this team because even if they somehow find a way to beat the 49ers and Broncos at home the next 2 weeks, you mentioned it. Like, you've got the Bills, you've got the Chiefs, you've got the Colts twice. This is not a schedule you can make up ground with. This was a schedule where you had to stay at or above 500 consistently and hope that, 10-7 wins the division. 9-8 gets you in the playoffs. Now you're just behind the 8 ball. And again, I don't trust this coaching staff to figure out how to properly run an offense with this offensive line. And your running backs stink too. Like, Chubb's done. Move along. Woody Marks has more juice, but he's still not good. No. How about the early game? Detroit's defense was awesome. Again, the bad luck continues with Tampa. Broken collarbone for Evans, likely out the rest of the regular season or deep into the regular season. Another huge blow for the Buccaneers. The Lions own Mayfield and frustrate him for whatever reason. Didn't see this one coming with the score, 24-9. Gibbs was the MVP and the star. He was awesome in what he did on the ground. Detroit now the favorites to win the NFC. They are the co-favorites to win the division with the Packers. Great job by Detroit, and I can't kill Mayfield and Tampa just because of week in, week out. They're always losing key members of that offense. Yeah, the one bright spot for Tampa is outside of Evans. Everyone should come back. Like, Ibuka actually played in this game with the hamstring injury. He was able to make it through the majority of the game, didn't play the normal snaps, didn't seem nearly as explosive as what we had seen in previous weeks, but at least he was out there. You're going to get McMillan back at some point. Godwin should be coming back at some point. But you just wonder how much of this you can face. How much adversity can you face and still be able to click? And this was the first time we really saw it affect Mayfield because he was off. He did not play well, especially compared to the level of performance that he had in earlier weeks. He was really struggling with being able to consistently hit open receivers. He ends up 28 for 50, but this was one of those where it was kind of on Mayfield that they put up 9 points, but at the same time, how much do you blame him with the 6th, 7th, and 8th string wide receivers out there for the majority of the game? Yeah, he did miss some throws. He was high a lot. He is now 7-1 at DraftKings to win the MVP. He came into the game plus 350. They're also down to 4.5 point favorites on the road against New Orleans on Sunday as well. And that's again Detroit. That's 12 straight wins off a loss under Campbell, and they haven't lost back-to-back games in 51 games going back. And Goff's also been great at night as well. Good job by the defense. But you look concerned with the offense? I mean, they're leaving a lot of plays out there, too. They have too many weapons to look like this. They also couldn't put them away. Tampa was begging to get blown out there, and Detroit couldn't do it. Yeah, it felt like it should have been 28-0 at half. And then Detroit should have just been absolutely steamrolling them. And like you said, they were leaving plays on the field there. They were misses by Goff. There were opportunities to be able to really put your foot on the throat here. And it felt like Tampa was the team you don't want to let them sneak around. You don't want to let them hang into this game and see Mayfield just get hot at one random point. And all of a sudden, this is a one-score game. Never really felt that threat, though. I was really impressed with the secondary here for Detroit, which is missing Branch on suspension, missing multiple pieces in the starting secondary, and they were able to contain this Bucs team for the most part all evening.
Yep. Aikman and Buck said the same thing. How was this game even close? I mean, you look at the stats, it's a total blowout here. The game should be over. Our old friend Nick Bogdanovich joins us up next. He'll be on the Progressive guest line. He is now with Boomers Sportsbooks. We'll talk to him about the upcoming college football slate and the World Series as well, straight ahead on Follow the Money. VSiN, the Sports Betting Network, Sirius XM, Channel 158.
Got a good thing coming, just wait and see. It's a good.
The NBA betting season is tipping off, and VSiN's got you covered with our brand new NBA betting guide. We've packed it with key insights and betting trends, previews of all 30 teams, and of course, our experts' season-long best bets. It's the playbook you want in your hands before the first tip. The guide is exclusive for VSiN Pro members, so don't miss out. Sign up today at VSiN.com/subscribe and join us on the Sports Betting Network.
This is VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Follow the money on VSiN.
Welcome back. Paulie Howard, Mike Somich, Mitch Evan Barbecue down the street. He'll be back tomorrow. Our old friend Nick Bogdanovich joins us now from Boomer Sportsbooks, and he's on the progressive guest line to talk a little college football and NFL. Appreciate the time. How you been, sir?
I'm doing great, fellas. Thanks for having me on.
Tell us about your new job and where we can find Boomers.
Yeah, no, it's a brand new little startup sportsbook just in the state of Nevada only. We're in a couple locations in Las Vegas, Casino Valley Verde in Green Valley, and Ellis Island, right there in the heart of the Strip. So swing on by. If you sign up, you get up to $250 in bonus bets. You can lay $1.05 on any NFL sides for the entire regular season. We got really good pricing. That's our stick, is to get fair pricing. And we got a nice little menu. It's a deep menu. Anything you want to bet on is there, and the app is easy to lose. But that's it for the selling points, but give us a shot. I think you'll like us, and you can always use another set of numbers.
Damn right. Learn more at betwithboomer.com. Where are you at with the World Series price, and your thoughts on this? Is the Dodgers have to be fantastic for business?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, but they look so unbeatable. It's incredible. I mean, and the way their pitching is humming and set up, 4 aces coming at you. But I guess Toronto's got a couple of things going for them. They got home field, which always helps, and two, they got a bunch of no names who believe they can get this done. They've been cohesive all year. I looked at their lineup the entire year and say, how are they doing this? But they're doing it. Obviously, Big Vladdy's coming through in the clutch. He's dialed in right now, but I have a feeling he won't see too many good pitches to hit. But it's going to be awesome to watch just because of the Ohtani factor alone.
Do you guys have a lot of liability on the Dodgers to win it all? There was a decent price on them when we started the playoffs here. I know a lot of people were interested in preseason. Does the liability that you guys have toward a specific team, does that adjust the price when you get to the World Series here, or are you guys just rolling out whatever you believe is the best number available?
Yeah, it can. At this point, if you got a big World Series liability, obviously you're going to have to skew your number one way or the other, depending on your individual situation. But yeah, we lose a little with the Dodgers. And we win a ham sandwich with Toronto. But, yeah, no, we don't have that much liability to influence our price, so we just put out what we thought was right.
How were the results this past weekend as the NFL favorites crushed it?
You know what? It was Saturday was decent, Sunday was a wash, and yesterday was okay. So, all in all, as Jimmy Vaccaro would say, my good friend, we won a ham sandwich.
Okay. How about some of these top games in college football? I know you're not in love with the slate. From an NFL standpoint, there's 3 late games, and I would say the best game of the week is Dallas and Denver, which isn't that great on paper, and it's a tough college card. Would you agree?
100% I agree. What would make it interesting is if Jaden Daniels can play Monday night in Kansas City, and maybe if they get Devo and McLaurin back this week, which is a possibility. So if all 3 of those guys showed up in Arrowhead, that would be a good game to watch. But if all 3 of those are out, you might want to watch some Young and Restless reruns.
Yes.
Yeah, numbers sitting at 10.5 right now in that Kansas City-Washington game. One of the many spreads that we're seeing at 6.5 or greater.
Yes.
Seems like it's going to be one of those big teasers weeks here. Is there anything that you guys do when you're booking to kind of do teaser protection, or is it something you don't generally worry about too much?
Don't worry about it too much. There's not a lot you can do other than raise a money line, and then you're giving them good value on the dog plus 310, 320, or whatever the situation arises. So, yeah, you gotta go in with the mindset on teasers. At the end of the year, you'll be up a tiny bit, but the public has fallen in love with teasers. Listen, the public, they would rather get it down to -0.5 or a pick than lay 6.5 or 7. So you just got to roll with it. And if the chalk shows up, you pay out and know that you're going to be open the next day. And at some point, that dog is going to get the upset.
Well, this is crazy. Cincinnati, Baltimore, Atlanta, the Bills, the Eagles, the Patriots, all in that 6.5, 7.5 point range coming up on Sunday. You're a big college guy. You have great numbers on college football. What did you make Ole Miss, Oklahoma? And do you have a pick?
I only made it 4.5. But I don't only have Oklahoma in the game. I'm not going to be involved. I like the fact that Mateer's back and he's got a couple games under his belt. Ole Miss, the spot just looks good for Norman because Ole Miss, they played their hearts out in that Georgia game, and they should have won it.
Yes.
And it was a physical war, emotional war, and they lost it. And now they got to regroup and go to Norman. That's the one thing about the SEC with these 16 NFL junior varsity teams. There's no easy weeks in the SEC. But like I said, I made it 4.5, but the spot calls for Oklahoma, so I will pass.
What about the Texas A&M and LSU game here? LSU feels like they've just been running the gauntlet since the season started, and A&M all the way up to number 3 now after a closer than expected win against Arkansas last week. We're seeing Marcel Reed move up to 5th in the Heisman. What do you make of this A&M LSU game in Baton Rouge?
Yeah, Reed is awful good. A&M is awful good. They showed me that when they went and hung 40 on Notre Dame in South Bend. I made the game 2.5. It's 3. My gut's telling me, for whatever reason, LSU comes with a big game here. I know Brian Kelly's been getting a lot of heat, but it's still LSU in Death Valley. And, you can score on A&M. I mean, Arkansas got 40, Notre Dame got 40. I think LSU can hang in this one. So, but I am a big Reed fan. I'm a Monster Elko fan. But I am looking to play LSU if this thing goes higher.
All right. Believe it or not, Vandy can make the playoff. This is incredible. This first 6-1 start since the 50s. They beat LSU for the first time since 1990. Pavia does the Heisman pose. Vandy at home to Missouri, 2.5, 51.5.
Love the Vandy story. I think they're ranked 10, so they're in the top 10 for the first time since Ulysses S. Grant was around. But yeah, they're fun to watch. I watched the entire Alabama game that they played against them, and the thing I took from that was they were every bit as physical as Alabama. So this team is really legit. I hope Pavia does win the Heisman. He'd be the first New Mexico State player ever to win the Heisman. So I'm rooting for Pavia. 2.5 this week. I made it 3.5. I might lay Vandy in this spot. I don't think it'll be any letdown. Missouri's coming off a double overtime win at Auburn, so they got back-to-back wars on the road. So I think Vandy keeps this thing going. But, yeah, no, it'd be great if Vandy made the playoffs. It'd be a phenomenal story that a academic institution can actually compete at the highest level.
Well said.
From behind the counter, has Vanderbilt become a public team? I know that they were public in that Alabama game. I wasn't sure about last week against LSU, but it seems like they're a team that a lot of people are wanting to get behind. Are you starting to see more public money flow in on Vanderbilt than expected?
Yes. I mean, not to the likes of the Notre Dame and the Alabamas of the world, but way, way, way more than Vandy ever did. And you're right. It's a feel-good story. Pavia is an incredible story, and the public is slowly but surely getting there behind them.
One more. Where do you have BYU power rated? Are you believing in BYU? Ranked 11th now. Now they go on the road at Iowa State catching 2.5 off the big win in the Holy War.
Yeah, I'm going to get broke on this game, and I know I'll lose, but I am going to play Iowa State. I mean, this is the ultimate spot of ultimate spots. BYU coming off the biggest game they have all year.
Right.
A wild roller coaster win. They win. Iowa State coming off 2 losses, and they had a bye week waiting for this BYU team to come off of playing Utah. I mean, if Iowa State can't win this game, they could never win it in a million years. So I'm backing the Cyclones, even though BYU, all they do know how to win. They'll be around, but I do think Iowa State gets this done back in Ames.
You're right about the spot. Sorry, Mike, go ahead.
It is a brutal spot. It is a brutal spot here for the Cougars. The overtime win against Arizona, the Holy War, and now you've got to go and face a team that's at home, that's waiting for you. It just feels like Iowa State's the difficult click, but the correct click in that one.
Yeah, no doubt about it. This is one you just blindly play and hope the spot is right. And I like the coach for BYU, Sataki, but I like the Iowa State coach even better. So I think you even have a little bit of a coaching edge here too. So, and like I said, Iowa State's stewing off those 2 losses with 2 weeks to prepare. I think they're going to come with a big, big game.
All right, we look forward to talking to you every week. Bring some donuts in studio next time, and good luck on the course today. Appreciate it, Nick. Hit them straight.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for having me.
Go get your free money. Boomer Sportsbook, bringing you all the action, football, hockey, basketball, and more. Code VSiN250 when you sign up for a Boomer's mobile account, and they'll match your first deposit up to $250 in bonus bets. $5 on all pro football spreads, every regular season game. Download the Boomer Sportsbook app today. Learn more at betwithboomer.com. Got to be 21. Terms and conditions apply. Bet responsibly. Nick Bogdanovich, Boomer Sportsbook. BetWithBoomer.com. Quickly, Mike, as well. How about, what do you do with UCLA's power rating? They're now getting 25 at Indiana. That's crazy, this turnaround.
It is ridiculous, the difference that we saw in the first 3-4 games from UCLA and what we've seen the past couple weeks. Indiana is a team that likes to blow people out. I kind of lean toward Indiana at under 28, but it's so hard to rate UCLA and what to do with that football team based on the Jekyll and Hyde we've seen in the early weeks.
Win some, lose some. Coming up next, some monster tickets that cashed, and Dave Ross has a $60,000 ticket. We'll go over coming up next on Follow the Money, VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
It's that rare time of year when all 4 major sports are in action, the Sports Equinox. To celebrate, VSiN is giving you full access to VSiN Pro all the way through May 1st for just $120. That's best bets sent to your inbox daily, betting guides for every sport, AI-driven prop projections and matchup tools, and every VSiN show live through the VSiN Watch app. Lock in the Sports Equinox special today at VSiN.com/subscribe and join us on the Sports Betting Network. Check out Stormy and JVT on Money Moves, only on VSiN.
And maybe that's why they wouldn't, because they're the Giants and they don't do things that make sense.
Out of all these divisions, this is the one that I am the most curious about because I do think there are positive signs for the Bears.
They'll take you on a fun, fast-paced journey, weaving in everything you need to know to make an educated bet, while also not shying away from the excitement of a same-game parlay sweat. Money Moves, weekdays at 2 p.m. Eastern on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Some, Lose Some is sponsored by the Sharp Plays.
Were you a winner last night?
Wow, winning.
Or was it a rough one?
Well, they can't all be winners, can they?
Loser! You're a loser!
Paulie Howard recaps the night in sports betting in Win Some, Lose Some.
Pretty good World Series on paper. One writer at ESPN.com who runs numbers said he gave it a 2% chance before the season that the Jays would play the Dodgers in the World Series. Blue Jays 30-1 to win the American League, 50-1 to win the World Series. 4 wins away. They were 5-1 in play yesterday as they rally in the 7th inning. They're the 4th team to win a best of 7 after losing the first 2 games at home. Heartbreak for Seattle. Springer goes deep plus 450. Raleigh goes deep plus 260. Rodriguez plus 450. First touchdown of the game, the early game, St. Brown, 7-1. At Caesars, St. Brown first touchdown, Gibbs second touchdown, 30-1. Tez Johnson anytime, plus 550. Gibbs, 10 yards rushing every quarter, 4-1. Lions have gone 51 games without losing 2 in a row, and they won 12 in a row after a loss. Late game, Charbonnet first touchdown, plus 750. Fairbairn gets there again, 15-3 overrun, over 1.5 made field goals. At Circa, JSN, touchdown and Seattle wins, plus 235. Vegas at it again, Mike. Their first period over. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say that the JSN number is just crazy to me that you can get him for a touchdown and a win. You're getting plus 235.
Yeah.
You added 100 yards to that. It was plus 550. So touchdown, 100 and Seattle win plus 550. It's a pretty nice one.
Every home game has gone over in the first period for the Golden Knights, and they're 6-1 to the over in the first period this year. Keep an eye on that one. Subscribe. Be part of the team. VSiN.com. Our radio and podcast friends, you always want to see these tweets and videos. At Paulie Does Vegas on Instagram. Send them in. We'll put you on. Here it is, Mike. We were in the blackjack tournament during the All-Star break here at Circa. On the final hand, Dave Ross beat me and knocked me out, and Dave Ross advanced. He finished in, I think, 12th place, 11th place. And with that $3,000 free bet, he took the Blue Jays at 22-1 to win the World Series. What should he do, Mike? What's your advice? His ticket pays $69,000.
I would love to have watched Dave when that homer went out of the park yesterday, because I'm sure that he was pretty excited there, much like everybody up in Toronto. You got to hedge this, right? I'm sure he hedged it last series against Seattle. Once you get this deep with this big of a free roll, really, you got to throw some money back the other way. Man, that's one heck of a ticket, man. Now you just got to get around the Dodgers for the big payday. But you hedge the crap out of this, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I know, but that's... What are the odds, right? He's got home field. He makes it, and he's a massive dog in terms of a baseball price, though, right? Yeah. And then
would you have taken the Blue Jays if you were picking 11th or 12th, or were they not even on the table for you?
I think they would have been on the table. Yeah.
I mean, they were leading the division at that point.
Yeah. The Brewers still had big odds too, and the Brewers went 4th, which was a big surprise. And I know the Dodgers had short odds, like 4-1, plus 350, and they went 2nd. So that guy's in a good position as well. What do you think of this, Mike? Troy Vincent said today he told owners it's time for them to reconsider a 4th and 15 alternative to the onside kick this offseason. Get rid of it. Put this in. I love it.
I 100% am with you. The onside kick is a joke.
I agree.
It's recovered once, twice a year. It doesn't actually add any intrigue. If you're trying to create the best possible product, it needs to have randomness, right? And the onside kick gives you absolutely nothing. If you recover, if you have one recovered against you, you're just cursing the gambling gods because somehow they got the football back. Put the 4th and 15 in there.
Yeah.
Make it a little interesting.
Oh.
I do think you have to figure out how to actually handle the penalty aspect of it, though, because I would hate to see on a 4th and 15 onside attempt, you get a defensive holding and you get the football, or you get a pass interference and you get the football. You'd have to have some quirks inside of it so that you don't get these ticky-tack penalties that give the ball back to the offense.
Very good. That'd be so damn exciting if they put that in. Lose some. NC2A President Charlie Baker at an event yesterday on March Madness. One of the reasons I'm interested in expanding the tournament, I do think there are teams that didn't make the tournament that should have, and it bummed me out that they didn't get in.
Nope. Hard pass. We don't need to. If you look, here's the thing. If you want the best 68 teams, get rid of the automatic bids. But then you lose the Cinderella story, so that's not something that they want to do. So, like, you have to cut it off somewhere. And at some point, this is just too big. It loses its fun.
Yeah.
Like, you cannot go to 128 or wherever
Absolutely.
the heck you want to go to make this interesting, because then the regular season's absolutely pointless. If we're arguing the bubble between the 122nd and the 132nd best team in college basketball, it's just too much. It's too much. It should be at 64. We shouldn't even be at 68. We don't need to go anymore.
That's it. Yeah, we all agree on one thing. Don't touch the tournament. But they're going to try to screw this up. Well, the other thing, there's no one who can complain. There is no one in the last 3-4 years who can be on the bubble and actually complain about, no, we got jobbed, because of how many teams are let in and how soft the bubble is and how many opportunities these big boys get to get quality wins night in, night out. That's an asinine statement.
That's the thing. You jobbed yourself because you didn't win the games you should have won. Like that it comes down to perform on the court, and it's irrelevant. Then you're going to be in the tournament. Just don't underperform, and it'll all be fine.
Yeah.
And again, like, I realize you get 12 seeds to make the Final Four, all that jazz. The likelihood of someone who got left out of the NCAA tournament winning it is sub 1%. Yeah. I'm not that worried about it.
Okay. Also lose some. After falling to 1-5, the Ravens removed the ping pong tables, video game consoles, basketball hoop, and cornhole boards from the locker room. It's from the Baltimore Sun. Time to get serious now and get down to business. Playtime's over.
I mean, I don't think they got hurt playing cornhole. I don't think the injuries happened during ping pong. Maybe stay healthy on the field. I don't think it's the games that's causing the problem. I think it's the injuries on the field that is causing the problem. Maybe more rehab, less ping pong. I don't know why that helps.
Yep. Bad beats. Mariners to win this series. Mariners to win the American League. Mariners World Series tickets, all right there. The city of Seattle, tough. You were right there. 8 outs away. 25-1 before the season started to win the World Series, and a great chance, and you finally would have made it. That one was tough to watch as the Mariners go down as well. And time again, couldn't come up with the big hit, and they won the first 2 in Toronto and couldn't get it done. I give Kirby full marks, too. Maybe you could have left him in there in that another inning, but he was solid, and 3 runs just not enough as well. Before the line moves, the sharp plays is already there. They don't just follow the market, they help move it. You're not going to outsmart billion-dollar books of full-time sharps on your own. With the sharp plays, you don't have to. AI picks up 50 units. Great contacts and sources. Reports, alerts, and market-moving insights straight to your inbox or X feed. Jeff and the crew at it since 2011. Documented results, public logs, transparent receipts. Sharpplays.com, trusted by pros, watched by the books. Sharpplays.com, stay ahead of the line. Big night as the NBA is back. Doubleheader. It's also back on NBC. So we welcome back Round Ball Rock, and it's great to have the NBA back on NBC. It's going to be a little weird where you start the season and you don't hear anything from Barkley and TNT right off the bat with the opener. But it's great that they're on NBC and Peacock, and so Amazon Prime in there as well. And 2 pretty good matchups here. It's unfortunate what happened to Van Vliet, but we get the Rockets and Thunder and the Lakers against the Warriors. A great trend on this game coming up later in the show, though, Mike. But also unfortunate that LeBron is out with the sciatica.
Yeah, unfortunately, we have two big absences there on 2 of the teams that are playing. I am excited for the music. Like that was the nostalgia is going to be real tonight when you've got the game on and the NBA on NBC music starts playing. Because I was growing up, I was a Bulls fan. Remember seeing all of that. I remember the OJ chase during the NBA Finals, and that music kind of pops back into my head whenever I hear it. So I mean, I was a huge NHL fan. When the NHL got back to ESPN and you got that music back, that was a big moment in my life. I'm excited for tonight to be watching NBC and be hearing the music because it's the nostalgia factor stuff. This is what I grew up with. I'm excited to have it back here.
Yeah, Ahmad Rashad, the Jordan Bulls were dominant. That music was so good. The OJ chase going split screen with the NBA Finals and then leaving the game entirely as they had to focus on the OJ chase as well. Unprecedented what happened. The Knicks were in the damn thing, and they still said, the hell with the game. We got to throw the OJ chase. So it's great to have it back tonight, and it should be a fun season as well. I'm also anxious and interested to see much improved in terms from a standpoint of stamina, conditioning, and looks, what Luka can do with the new physique.
Yeah, two of the most fascinating things are Luka and Zion heading into the NBA season.
Yes.
Like, what are we going to get from these two guys?
Yeah.
Because you have that body transformation. And Luka, I mean, we knew this was going to happen, right? He was overly motivated after everything that Dallas said about him to come out this summer and get right from a shape perspective. I can't wait to see him play with this new skinny Luka version. I'm also fascinated to see what Zion does, if he can actually stay healthy this year as well, since he's struggled much more with that than Luka has. But tonight's going to be awesome, man. I'm excited to see this Lakers team and how Ayton fits in and what this actually looks like with them on the court.
Love the acquisition of Ayton as well. And maybe Reeves gets off to a hot start. David Baker, pro poker player, also pro bettor. Up next, he made a big move.